There are 3 that I follow, and I recommend my students watch them. And they're from 3 different regions, so they get 3 different accents. So I have a Canadian guy I follow, an American, and an Australian. It's like, listen to them, you hear the accents, get acclimatized. Listen to the way they pronounce words, because everybody might take one word. We had this conversation, one word pronounced differently, and it sounds like, what is that? Depending on who you're speaking with. So watch other teachers, see how they do things, and get certified.
Like, do you think during the year that you have that during different times in the year, does that affect your income, like summer or winter?
It does. Yeah, it does. So right now, it's low, right? And it's slow for many different reasons. There are different things happening in the different places around the world. Like in Saudi Arabia, they've been on holiday. They also are celebrating a holiday. Yeah, and so there are a lot of students missing, kind of thing. Brazil during carnival time is kind of quiet. Chinese New Year is quiet. Being aware of when these times are happening and how you're going to manage is key. So they do affect your income. The platform that I work on, and many of these platforms do that, is that they offer an additional service to students who want to practice their writing. And so you as a teacher can go in and correct some of these writing submissions and get paid to do that as well, right? And the way they do it is like you get paid for each one you do. It's a small percentage, but so that can also help at least maintain your income on those times when it's really slow.
Do you get to choose your students, or they're just appointed to you?
No, the group class is definitely not. It's whoever happens to come in. But the private ones, they can choose whoever they want to, whoever teacher they want to work with. Some of the students, what they do is they're not really too concerned about the teacher as it is the time spot. So they just book a time and then the system will automatically assign it to someone. But there are students who specifically look for teachers.
Do you feel like your income is guaranteed every month? Like, do you feel secure about how much you're going to be making each month?
Well, this is where you become entrepreneurial. You set a goal, right? So it's like, I need to make this much a month in order to cover my expenses, and so whatever you have to do to get it done. So if it's a slower month, that's why working multiple platforms works. So I've found that sometimes one of the platforms is super, super busy, but the other one's quiet. And then it'll reverse like a couple of months later. So doing it that way, I still am able to meet, at the very least, my expenses each month.
So you did your TESOL certification when you were in Colombia or before that?
I did it before that. So I actually had done it in 2008. Like, went to Peru, wanted to teach English, did this thing, and never did anything with it until 2016. But I did it through Oxford seminars, and so yeah, you've heard of them. They do a lot of test prep as well as these certificates, but TESOL Canada doesn't recognize their certificates. But when you go overseas, they don't care. They really don't. Yeah. They just see it, and they see how many hours. It's like, oh, okay, you did 100 hours, you did 120, that's great. But certainly, like TESOL Canada, if you wanted to do any work with the British Council, they'll want something that's recognized, and they don't recognize Oxford seminars. And British Council, if you're looking to do teaching in schools, in universities as language tutors, they have a lot of opportunities. A lot of the Latin American countries look to the British Council for the gold standard on a lot of things. So that's why I say getting a certificate that is recognized will give you more options, more opportunities.
The one that I did was the CELTA. And yeah, I think that was one of the most recognized.
Yeah.
I'm able to teach here in Montreal and in Asia, and most places when they ask me to say CELTA, I'm like, oh yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
It is more expensive than the other ones, but I think in the long run it's worth it.
I'm always worried because I'm not English native. I always wonder if I could still do it. I know it's probably easier overseas or in other countries because even if I don't speak perfect English, I can still speak better than most people over there. But on the platform, like online platforms, some of them are quite strict on the native part.
Yeah, they are. The lucky thing about being in Canada is they just assume everybody speaks English.
Yeah.
So, like, honestly, it's really interesting. They'll have the list of countries, and they'll USA, UK, Canada. It's like, okay.
But I always wonder if I'm gonna get caught somewhere. Like some of them.
They'll just say, your accent
Because my
doesn't
name-
sound like other Canadians. I was like, I'm from a different region. Like,
Yeah.
but do be careful. Yeah, some platforms they specifically say we want native English speakers,
Yeah.
but some don't. As long as you have a C1 level of English, which is pretty much fluent, they won't care. But if they see you're a Canadian citizen, they're
Because the name like tips it off a bit. It's the French name. So
Yeah.
I don't
they'll
think
see
you
the
have to worry. I have known people that have a far more pronounced accent than you teach over in Japan or
Yes.
in Thailand and
Yeah, I
stuff
wouldn't
like
be
that.
worried about Asia because I
I
feel
wouldn't
like
worry about it.
One of the things, because I've connected with some other online teachers, and some of these teachers are from Poland, from France,
Yeah.
from Germany. And the nice thing is, even though they have like a bit of an accent, one of the things is like, because I teach on Italki, and one way that they position themselves as like, IMD, like English teacher for Polish people, or English teacher for German people. And
Yeah.
then they connect with students who speak their language, and then teach them English.
Yeah.
And then they'll say like, I can use them. And I know a lot of them have done really, really well like that. Kind of position themselves with people who speak the same language as them. And in some cases, people actually want to work with them more because they
Yeah.
know the language. It's true.
so. I
There's
mean,
also a lot of French speaking countries, so you could make that the kind of people that you want to teach instead.
so I don't have any problems with that. So, like when you said, definitely it's going to be the way you position yourself. The fact that you put Canada and they will call you.
It's true.
It's true. It's
Yeah,
true.
it's true.
They, you're Canadian. I love Canadians. I know. Yeah. Or the question, what's the difference between a Canadian accent and an American accent?
Right.
Right? It's like I know everyone outside can't really hear the difference, but we can. We can hear the difference. And I'll make a joke about how they think we say a boot. Like, and I remember, I'll tell this weird story. So when I was 18, I worked as a camp counselor, and I had these girls from Detroit who were here, and they're like, "You have an accent." I'm like, "What? No, I don't." And they're like, "Yeah, say out and about the outhouse." Out and about the outhouse, but they hear oot and about the oot-oos. And they're like, "You have an accent." I'm like, "You're the foreigner. You're And so I tell that story, and they laugh because they can't hear the difference unless they've had a teacher from Texas or Mississippi. Then they hear the difference. But I tell them, northeastern Canada or northeastern U.S. and Canada, we sound the same. But they love the fact that if you put Canada on your profile, you won't have to do anything. They'll call you.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one who takes naps in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I thought it was weird. I'm like, oh man, why do I always leave this nap? Let's be assured.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's really true. And I've always known this about myself. I want to take a nap at 2:30 in the afternoon. I've always wanted it. And so now that I get to schedule my day where I can do that, it's the greatest thing in the world. And I think there are a lot of people that.
I also take a 3 o'clock nap if I can.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny, in the beginning I felt like I was being unproductive by just like taking a nap in the middle of the day, but yeah, you're used to it, so.
But you also work odd hours. Like
Yeah.
we work odd hours. Right? I mean, everybody is having dinner with their friends, and you're talking to a student when it's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. You're talking to a student, and so that's where you manage your energy and realize that we're working differently. We're not doing the typical 9 to 5.
Are you based in Montreal, or do you travel like a few months in a year as well?
No, I'm here. I'm based here in Montreal. It's cheaper than Toronto.
Have you tried to travel and teach at the same time?
I haven't, no. Because trying to manage like the environment, it adds a variable that I don't want to think about. But I've had friends who are like on Cambly. Cambly doesn't seem to care too much where you are, as long as you're connected. And so I've had a friend she spent 4 months in Mexico, and then she went to Colombia, and now she's in Chile. And she's teaching in a school there, but also still teaching on Cambly at the same time. So she did the travel and teach thing. She didn't seem to have a problem with it, but I don't want to think about, okay, where am I going to make sure I'm connected to good Wi-Fi or
So these are waffles.
Anything else?
I might have a question, but it might be related to something that you said we'd talk. Because I was wondering, do you think it's possible to scale, the hours that you spend with students one-on-one? Because I feel like I'm at that point where I can't work 12 hours a day, and I'm trying to increase my prices. And so, is that kind of what you're planning on doing? Okay.
yes, eventually I would like to. I would like to move over to italki because you can set those prices and then scale it.
Yeah.
Because working with the platforms, you're kind of fixed into what their pay rate and their pay schedule bonus structure is. And I would like to do it that way and become almost like really exclusive.
Right.
But I think it's going to be a while. That would require me stealing the students I have away from my current platforms, which I don't think they would appreciate with them. I don't care. But
Which platform did you mention? The one you were using?
so the one I use full time is EF, and I use Cambly as well. Yeah. And EF, it's good because they do have like writing assignments, so you can correct the writing assignments you see. Some of them are actually pretty good at writing, and some of them are pretty atrocious. Like the first sentence is full of like errors. And, I can't get through the rest of this document, and it's only like a paragraph. But that's the interesting part. So it's good. It offers that flexibility, but eventually moving over to italki and then being able to scale.
And your platform, EF, it pays you per hour or per lesson, I guess?
Yeah, it pays per hour.
Per hour. And it's about usually like...
It'll depend. So they start. Depends on what center. For some reason, I don't know why they do this, but different centers get different starting pays, and I think it's because of where they're located. And then they have a bonus structure where your pay can increase the next 6 months, the next year, and that kind of thing as well. And so, and then with the writing assignments, getting paid per assignment that you do. It depends on where you are. Also, experience will play into that. So, but I think the teachers that are based in the U.S. they have a higher starting rate, basically because they are in the U.S.
And your experience in Colombia was valuable when it came to selling yourself.
Yeah, they liked that I lived in another culture, had some teaching experience as well as having a certificate. They didn't seem to care where my certificate came from, but I do know that those who have like the CELTA or even their deltas, which is like the next step up, they get a higher pay, starting pay. How are you liking it?
Yeah, I love it. It's great. So I teach mostly on italki. Also, the other one is QKids.
Okay.
And so that's the one that connects with kids in China. I actually write up in entertainment. I feel like I'm my babysitter. Just like, hey, whatever. But it's really I love it. And I think we're definitely in the same boat, and definitely a lot of stuff that you mentioned.
Yeah. So are you awake early in the mornings for QKids?
Yeah, for QKids, the first class starts at like 6 in the morning. And right now, because of daylight savings time, it kind of matches up nicely. But I know in the spring it'll be like 5 o'clock.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be fine.
So that's when I kind of like I'm like, I tried it, but then I'm like, no, I can't do this. So I
Yeah.
basically just told them, yeah, call me back. The ball, and that's where we're good to go. You know.
Good for you that you were able to try it. I did an interview and I said, oh God, no. I cannot teach kids because they pretend to be like a 5-year-old that you would.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't.
This is how the interview goes?
Yeah, if you're interviewing to teach
Yeah.
kids, that's how they do it. So the interviewer will ask you, typical interview questions, and then you have to do a mock, and they
Yeah.
act like
So
a 5-year-old.
It's true.
Yeah.
My interviewer, she was like, okay, so I'm gonna pretend to be a little girl now. She's like, teacher. Okay. Just pretend they're a child.
Yeah.
No.
Is it harder? I'm guessing it's harder to work with kids.
Yes and no. I actually like working with both. I like working with adults and kids because I find it kind of balanced out. Like I think with adults, they require a certain kind of attention, and so like they want to know what kind of mistakes they're making, and so have to be really attentive to how they're speaking and the grammar, and so I have to make sure that they're kind of getting something from that lesson. And then with kids, kids you don't have to correct anything; you're just kind of entertaining them. And I like working with kids, so I like having like I work on some days more with kids, and then on other days with adults, and I like having that balance. And then sometimes if I get too annoyed, I just kind of that's the nice thing, I can just on my talkie just click, change my hours and kind of just I'll schedule more adults and less kids, and then if I want to balance it out, I can just kind of go back and forth between that.
And are you full-time based in Montreal, or do you travel a bit?
Well, I usually once a year I'll go to Malaysia because my wife lives in my wife's family's in Malaysia, so that's really where I got into online. So that's why I spent a few months in Malaysia. Mostly I'm based in Montreal, for about 7 or 8 months out of the year I'm here in Montreal.
Summertime.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Winter in Malaysia.
But January, I'm out of here. Yeah, so that's how it works.
Are there any platforms for teenagers? Because I feel like it's either adults or kids.
Yeah.
So they kind of lump them.
Yeah.
Like some of the,
Adults.
they go from ages 3 to 16, and then the adult ones will start at like age 16, 17, and go from there. I've had a few teenagers, and it doesn't happen too often, but you'll get a few that are like 16, 17 years old. And they're, typical teenagers. They're kind of interested, they're kind of not.
Parents are pushing them to do
Some of them, they're being pushed by their parents, but some other ones, they have definite goals, and English is part of that. When they're thinking about, they're thinking about their career goals, and I want to do this, and I want to study here and here, so I need English to do this, and I'm like, okay, focus.
Especially I find like Chinese teenagers, they've got they know which universities they want to go to, and they want to become lawyers, and they're like, I would like you to help me accomplish these goals. I'm like, how do you can? What the hell?
It makes you feel so focused. Like, how do you have your whole life planned out? But so it'll depend. But teenagers kind of do get kind of lost, right? It's either the young kids where you're going to entertain, or the adults where you have to be mindful of their mistakes and yet keep the conversation intellectually stimulating. So.